it's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. And today we'll be reviewing episode 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 2. Today our queens were challenged to write comedy sets on queer love. More like ghost love, am I right? No, seriously. Gays are so notorious for ghosting that Mythbusters actually did an episode on them. They called it Ghostbusters. It kind of sucked. But at least they got to the bottom of the issue. And on the main stage, the runway category was Stoned on the Runway. Before we get started, I want to remind you to click like if you want to help me find love, and to press subscribe if you want to press subscribe. I also want to let you know that my channel is made possible by my generous patrons over on patreon.com/BussyQueen, who get exclusive member benefits like early access to my videos, weekly lip sync reaction videos, access to the Bussy Queen Discord server, their names and credits and personal shoutouts, and more. For just a few pounds a month, my patrons help me afford things like production equipment, makeup, hair, food, and rent. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description of this video to join my Patreon family today at patreon.com/BussyQueen. Now, let's break some hearts. First up, it's everyone's favorite Ahura. On the main stage, Ahura is so stoned, she can barely breathe. But thankfully, she's brought her drip bag and her oxygen tank with her. She actually calls this thing her drip stand, which I'm assuming must be UK slang for IV bag and stand. And I'm really glad she said that because I was actually confused why she had this at all until she said the word drip. And then I connected like drip with dripping in diamonds, and she's, you know, dripping diamond juice into her body to become a diamond. Overall, I think she looks really pretty. It's not the most unique thing in the world. It's Gaga, Britney, Beyonce, Rihanna, mixed with a little bit of Violet Chachki. She maybe could have done something a bit more original, but I think the execution was well done. I particularly loved those blonde finger waves and that crazy bird's nest on the top of her head. If I were gonna change just a few small things, I maybe would have liked to have seen a bigger bust or maybe a slightly larger hip, just to really balance out that silhouette and give it a little more va-va-voom. I also don't think it would have hurt to put a few more stones here, especially to cover up some of those nude illusion fabric pieces on her legs. Cause too much nude illusion fabric kind of takes me out of the nude illusion. You know, I really am just being picky here because we're in the top 5 and I'm looking to be gagged, bound, and chained. This is a gag and a bound, but maybe not all the way to a chained. And at the end of the day, mama, I'd be lucky to look that gorgeous. VVS's have never looked sicker. This look is hot. Unfortunately, Ahura's raunchy comedy set wasn't necessarily what the judges were looking for. I kind of agree with them. It maybe wasn't the funniest thing in the world, but I think maybe they critiqued her wrongly. I mean, she was giving a comedy set to an audience of blow-up dolls and a show host who makes f***ing jokes every episode. So it's not exactly like she was too far off of home base, but her timing could have used a bit of improvement, and overall, I think the set was indeed a rat. And it's a shame because she looked damn gorgeous in that outfit too. Next up, turns out UK Sweetheart has a dark side. It's always the nice ones, isn't it? It's Ellie Diamond. This runway was kind of meant for Ellie. Stoned on the Runway, Ellie Diamond, and I think because I was expecting so much from her, this was a bit of a letdown for me. I mean, firstly, yeah, she looks pretty. That's a given. She's always cute and fun and bubbly. But was it conceptual? Was it top 5 runway? No, I don't think so. It's just a little bit basic compared to everyone else tonight. Like, everyone else is surprising us, doing new things, pulling in fun references, and Ellie just has on rhinestone platform pleasers with a really strange fitting conservative skirt over an ice skater top. It's just not doing it for me. I just can't imagine I'm the only one that's wanting a little bit more than a hooker on ice from Ellie in the top 5, now moving into the top 4. This look was a triple axel rat. As for her jokes, girl, I was laughing, but not necessarily because she was delivering punchlines, but because that character switching was the craziest thing I've ever witnessed. This was like almost as bizarre as Laganja's legendary comedy set, not quite, but approaching those levels of insanity for sure. Like, she got to a point in her set where she wasn't even telling jokes, she was just switching to her character and saying no, which was like bizarre and unsettling, but at the same time awkwardly funny. So I guess it worked out in the end. So even though I was laughing more at her than with her, I am going to go ahead and give this set a hot. Next up, it's the rash you don't want to treat. Bimini Bon Boulash. Get it? Like blemish? Bimini tonight, oh my god. I think she is an excellent example of what a top 5 runway should look like. Conceptual, confident, fashionable. Ugh. I just want to remind y'all really quick, this is the same person who wore that really crazily, haphazardly fitting sports uniform on the very first runway. This is the very same one. Bimini has not only showed us that she is so much more than that, but has the capability to learn, improve, and keep surprising us consistently. And while the ugly beauty queen concept isn't the most original thing in the world, right? We've seen this back with Miss Cracker on All Stars 5, Gigi Good, and even as far back as Trixie and Pearl's twin runway. But we've never seen it taken to this editorial place that Bimini has gone to here. She's giving me allergic reaction, prepubescent David Bowie realness meets London grunge street fashion. It's so beautiful, but ugly. And I'm just really loving how the hives and blemishes make up an actual pattern on the fabric. Like the back of the coat, it's almost like cow print, but you realize it's blemish print. Hives have never looked better. This look is spot. I mean, in the comedy set, Bims was clearly the most confident, consistent, and funny of the group. Her set wasn't perfect, but I think she was an excellent example of making the best of what you're given. I mean, given the circumstances, she did phenomenally. Her performance was hot, and that's not a joke, just a fact. Next up, Minor. I hardly know her. It's Lawrence Chaney. She's the pink pussy crystal of your nightmares or your daydreams. I won't judge you. I really love the meteorite space vibes that she's giving. Maybe she's from some extraterrestrial planet full of gay, campy drag queens. I don't know. It's also kind of reminding me a little bit of Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time. I think it's so great because it's different and unexpected from someone like Lawrence to come out like this. It's that kind of like theatrical stage play high fashion. You know, it's kept campy. And I love that it looks like she's spending a lot of time on her knees. Check them out, they're extra stoned. For her pleasure. Lawrence looks perfect in pink. This look is hot. However, in the comedy challenge, I think Lawrence really struggled to shine here. Lawrence's set was difficult for me to watch, particularly in the second half, because she went from funny punchlines to telling this bizarre story about coming out to her parents, which like finally ended in a joke, but it just was way too long-winded. It was kind of like what she did in the Snatch Game with that Harry Potter character lady, where she just kept talking and word vomiting, and it just wasn't funny. With this performance, I did not fall in love. It was a rot. Honestly, I think she definitely could have been in the bottom 2 for this, but we all know the judges love her way too much to put her in the bottom for that. Next up, the girl on fire. It's how she stays stoned. She's always lit. It's Tayce. I love the unique concept of that Mugler-esque meets Monet exchange in a very good way. Metallic bodysuit armor turning into flames on the breastplate. It's really pretty, and the dripping little crystals, an excellent touch. I also really love this hair on Tayce. So fresh for her. Thank you for not doing another 60-inch wig. She just looks really powerful. She is the StarCraft spaceship leader of the fleet of drag queens looking to harvest the crystals of all the extraterrestrial planets. It's also a bit Sindel from Mortal Kombat. Y'all know I love to bring everything back to that stupid game, but you know what? That's what I love. She looks gorgeous from head to stone. This look is hot. In the comedy challenge, I think she was actually one of the most consistent performers of the night. I think maybe the last third of her performance kind of was verging into unfunny territory, and she failed to deliver as hard as she could have on that beans and toast bit, but overall, I was laughing, and she looked confident and sure of herself when she was telling her jokes. And if she had have elaborated on some of those stories and told some of those jokes that she said she was saving for later, I think she could have won this challenge. This may surprise you, but I actually am going to give her comedy set a hot. That's a hot for beans and a hot for toast. Overall, this challenge was a bold one to do for the show. I think I would not wish a comedy set challenge to an audience of blow-up dolls to even my worst enemy. That is the worst way to do comedy. Anyways, to no one's surprise, Bimini does take the win this week. Absolutely deserves it. And this really is turning into Bimini's drag race. The other girls need to be looking at her and saying like, what is she doing? How can I do that? Because Bimini's just gonna leave them in the f***ing dust if they don't. And Tayce and Ahura end up in the bottom 2, lip syncing against each other for this episode. Click the link in the description of this video to go to my Patreon and watch my exclusive lip sync reaction video. And my hottest On the Runway tonight goes to Bimini Bon Boulash. I also ask my patrons every single week to vote for their hottest hot, and this week they've also chosen Bimini Bon Boulash. I'd also love to know what you thought about tonight's episode. Who was your hottest hot, and was the bottom two correct? Did Ahura go home too soon? I think she might have. It always feels like just when I'm starting to really fall in love with a character on Drag Race. Drag Race. They get eliminated. Anyways, I want to say thanks for watching today's video and give a special shout out to Anthony, Bradley, Cameron, Christopher, Evan, Fractalized, Freddie, GJ Bearclaw, Got the Morbs, Glenn, Jay, Jenny, Jonah, Johnny, Kazuko, Kevin, Kiki and John, Olympus Mons, Venus, Ron, Rar, Shannon, Sky, Sunshine, Superplin, Timothy, Tony, and Wheelie, who were all supporting me at my hottest tier. And Angel, Caroline, Craig, Hope, JB, Marty and Cheesy Boy, Matthew, Rochambeau, Sailor, and Tom, who were all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next week. Love ya. Bye.